The Atlanta Braves send a legend out in style, beating the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-1 in Charlie Morton's last game in the major leagues. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. Those of you who are joining us live from the Falcons squad show, recapping Atlanta's win over the Washington Commanders, welcome on in. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That's Jake Mastroianni, host of Locked On Braves. Follow him on social media at Shortstop Ball. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Braves wherever you get your podcast. Jake's not done. Ton of content coming from this thing. He's a content machine. A lot of stuff coming to talk about this season, but we're going to talk about Charlie Morton's final game, a 4-1 win by the Atlanta Braves over the Pittsburgh Pirates, the other team that Charlie Morton spent a majority of his career with. And before we do anything else, like before we get into the actual specifics of the game, I do think we need to discuss the send-off for Morton.
This is what you'll be talking about.
So Charlie Morton starts the first inning, 2 walks. It's like 8 balls in the first 9 or 10 pitches, but he gets out of it thanks to a double play. And then the second inning gets the strikeout. And as soon as he gets the strikeout, they come out to get him. His family was right there at the edge of the dugout to welcome him. He waited for Chris Sale to get to the mound before he walked off. He got a curtain call from the dugout. There was really nothing better that could have happened. This is the perfect way to end your career, isn't it?
Not many things happened this year for the Braves the way that I wanted them to. This was one of them. I mean, this was the perfect setup for me. Like I said, short outing, make sure that he leaves on a good note. Weren't really sure in that first inning, but was able to get.
I was a little nervous.
Came back out and got the strikeout on that patented curveball. So yeah, I just thought it was the perfect moment, the perfect time to do it. Certainly loved it for Charlie Morton. Great moment with him and Chris Sale, who obviously wanted to have Charlie Morton start in front of him. So I loved all that. I loved his family being out there. The video, it was just perfect. I mean, it's exactly what you want. You don't want to see your season end like this for the Atlanta Braves. Obviously, you'll be playing in October, but that 162, it does create some really cool moments. And I thought there were several of them in this game for the Braves, but Charlie Morton in that moment, if this is it, there's still no announcement yet, which is kind of awkward, but the fact that his family's there on the field and everything, I think. But Charlie's also getting into the last 2 or 3 off seasons where we weren't sure, and he ended up coming back. $15 million will do that. But yeah, I mean, Charlie Morton obviously been around, just what a cool career too, right? I mean, struggled early on and really a big turnaround in the middle of his career, and then went on to win 2 World Series, a lot of great accomplishments. I think Braves fans will always remember that 2021 season, him striking out Jose Altuve on a broken leg. I mean, that's just legendary stuff right there. So was absolutely thrilled to see Charlie Morton come back and get that moment. Hopefully that final moment with the Atlanta Braves just really was cool. And like I said, I think it all went exactly the way that I would have wanted it to.
Yeah, as PJ says in the chat, it was a nice way to end a not so great season. I really do love that he got a send off, and against the Pirates was fitting, right? Atlanta traded him after the 2008 season, and he spent 7 years with the Pirates. Now he wasn't necessarily that good there. That's kind of what you were talking about when you mentioned the mid-career renaissance. His best seasons of his career. His career turned around at the age of 33 with Houston in 2017. And I don't quite think people realize exactly how good he was at his pre-Braves peak. In 2019, he was a third-place finisher for the AL Cy Young. He had a 3.05 ERA and 240 strikeouts in 194 and 2/3 innings with Tampa Bay. Like, he was legitimately one of the just the best pitchers in all of baseball, and he's been incredibly reliable since then. So very nice that he got a send-off there. I did find it interesting, and I guess some of the game situation and the statistical chases dictated this, but I did find it interesting that the Braves weren't able to find a way to get some of the other veterans like a Matt Olson and guys like that a curtain call by taking them out late in this one in the middle of an inning. But I do think, and you mentioned this before we started recording, that a lot of these guys were very close to statistical milestones. And so it's hard to take them out to give them a curtain call when, say, Matt Olson needed one more home run to hit 30, when Drake Baldwin needed one more home run to hit 20, right? When Marcell Ozuna didn't reach base to get pulled early from a game. But it's still, I think a lot of things happen in this game that makes you feel like, okay, the season ended on a high note, right? Olson had some hits. Ronald had a home run. Michael Harris still had a great defensive play in the outfield. And ultimately, you won the game. Chris Sale looked good. I feel good about where you're leaving this season going into 2026.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still of the belief that what happens now is not really going to matter too much next year, come the beginning of next year. But certainly you want to, go into the offseason feeling pretty good about yourself. And they certainly did that. I mean, they still lost this series to the Pirates. It was still a bad year. But to end it, the last game of the year, I think it's more probably for fans, just, one more win and all of that. But I thought there were some cool moments, like I said, and like you mentioned, even the last play of the game, a ball tips off Iggy's glove and Nick Allen makes one more great play. I mean, remember the little things about this season when it was a bad season. Mm-hmm. We got to watch Nick Allen play Gold Glove defense at shortstop for most of this year. And that's something they'll probably look back on 2025 and hopefully have a fond memory of as somebody who loves shortstop defense. I thought that was really cool. You mentioned Michael Harris and that nice catch that he had. Ron Acuña Jr. hitting a ball 450 feet. Chris Sale coming in and doing what he did. I mean, there were some really cool moments in this game. And look, like I said, I don't think what happened today or that win streak really has too much to do with the beginning of next year. But that aside, I still very much believe in this team. And I still think they're going to be competitive and going to be good next year. And so, yeah, it's just, fan-wise, yeah, I'm glad we got to go out like this. Although I don't know, Lindsay, I didn't look. Did the Orioles win or lose today? Because that might have changed the odds a little bit. Yeah, the Braves are all the way down to the sixth best draft odds right now, 4.54% according to Tankathon. So that did hurt, dropped them 2 spots by winning this game today.
Yeah. All right. In just a minute, we'll talk about the offseason. We'll talk about some of the players here, and we'll talk about a divisional opponent that's getting something that I kind of think maybe was coming to them. We'll do that next right here on the BRAVES Postcast. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get the boost when you need it. I throw it in the Jeep. I keep one in my backpack for when I'm at the ballpark. Lots of different places. I have a 5-hour energy stash just to be safe. I love how fast it kicks in and that it's sugar-free, so I don't have to worry about crashing later. So that is enough of boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in-store and online at 5hourenergy.com or at Amazon today. This episode is also brought to you by Zippix Toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and that hand-to-mouth habit without smoking. Zippix can also be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. They have 6 great flavors with both 2 and 3 milligram nicotine options. If you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. I use the caffeine toothpicks, honestly, whenever I'm doing MLB game night. I'm going to be staying up late to go live after the West Coast games are over and talk about every game played in Major League Baseball that day. The Zippix toothpicks give me energy without the jitters and the flavors. Whether it's, bourbon, cinnamon spearmint, peppermint watermelon ice, actually tastes pretty great. So go to zippixtoothpicks.com, use code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. Now, Must be 21 or older to order, and a warning that nicotine is an addictive chemical. But that's ZippixToothpicks.com, promo code Locked On. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix Toothpicks. Welcome back to the Braves Postcast. Lindsay, Crosby, Jake Mastroianni. I've been trying to go a little bit slow here because I'm waiting for the finish of Mets Marlins. The Miami Marlins are leading the Mets, and they are 3 outs away from eliminating the New York Mets from the postseason. The Cincinnati Reds lost today. They were tied with the Mets and had the tiebreaker. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for that game to finish up, I wanted to take just a second to thank everybody who's here. This has been a ton of fun. And I think we figured that out last night, Jake. We've done 121 postcasts this season of the team's 162 games. And I honestly, it's been a tough season, right? I mean, obviously, it's been a tough season from the win-loss record, from the one-run losses, from the from the poor offensive performances, from all of the injuries. But you guys, the fans, the viewers, the listeners, you guys have constantly been here every single game in the chat, giving us info as things happen in the post game, laughing at my jokes, making fun of the ad reads. I appreciate the heck out of you guys. This has been a ton of fun, and I wouldn't trade this for anything. And Jake, you specifically, I want to thank you for welcoming me to the postcast. I know that you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, but it's been a ton of fun this season.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I think we were more around 130 mark, actually, when we were talking about it. And plus some of those were double headers. So we did a lot of them this year. You even more so than me. Obviously, I take vacation during the summers. Lindsay doesn't. But yeah, I mean, it's been great. Like it's been a tough season, and some nights it's hard to come on here and talk about some of these games, especially in the first half where it was just a rough watch, quite honestly, with the way the offense was in the first half. Second half, even with the pitching being bad, I thought it was a little bit better because at least you had a chance to score some runs and win. But yeah, it's to come on here every night and talk about a team that's struggling, not meeting expectations, it can be tough, but it certainly makes it a lot more enjoyable when we've consistently had 100 plus people in here live with us throughout the season, even in the second half. So I would love the support. And Lindsay, just want to say thank you to you as well. I mean, you have done a ton of these. You have been very, very dedicated to this. I think you've brought a lot to it. And so thank you so much for your dedication to this postcast. I think it's done great things this year, built some great support, and looking forward to hopefully doing it again with you next year.
Yeah, same here. And for those of you who have asked, Locked On typically makes those decisions in the spring. They've not given us any indication that they're going to make a change for next season. We just don't know for a fact, and we won't know until probably February what they decide to do. Okay, so the Mets are now 3 outs away from their season being over. And this is a team that was, I want to say their biggest division lead was, not, I don't think they were ever double digits, but they were easily, I want to say, at least 6 or so games up on Philadelphia at one point in time in the year. And not only are they going to fall from that, they're going to fall to, 5.5. They were 5.5 games up in mid-June. Not only are they going to fall out of that, they could potentially fall out of the postseason completely. And I'm trying to figure out, the Braves have a season, I'm trying to remember exactly which one it was, where they had a terrible September and they fell out of the division. This feels to me like one of the worst collapses we've seen in recent history, and worse than maybe anyone the Braves have had, simply because you look at all of the money that the Mets spent, and you look at, they added a guy who's going to get MVP votes in Juan Soto, a 40-40 season, and all of this stuff. They have all these stars. Pete Alonso was so good. Francisco Lindor. They added all this pitching and everything. And they also had pitching injuries like Atlanta had pitching injuries. And they fell all the way out of the postseason. We hope. Again, we have, I believe we now have
2 outs left.
Yeah, we have 2 outs left on that. Aaron in the chat said the Mets losing is our World Series. I 100% agree with you. The Mets losing is our World. That's all we have
just
right now.
Get into a double play to end it. It is
ball game. The New York Mets are officially eliminated from the postseason. Is this the biggest collapse that you can remember in recent National League East history?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rough, like you said, considering where they were and to not make the postseason, all the money they spent, and the year that Juan Soto had. I mean, I know, I feel like early on in the first half, Mets fans were complaining about Juan Soto, but the guy had a tremendous season. The top of your order, I mean, Lindor, I know he just grounded a double play there to end it, but you had Lindor, Soto, and Pete Alonso, all had really good years at the top of that order. And I knew the thing coming in, why I didn't pick the Mets to win it this year and get into the postseason, is because the pitching. And I think that's kind of what hurt them, especially down the stretch. The pitching kind of fell apart. And look, it's fun as here as Braves fans. Like I said, it's kind of our World Series, and it's a bad year for the Braves. My question for fans would be, would you rather have the 2025 season of the Braves or the 2025 season of the Mets? You both met the postseason. Ooh. One team won 83 games. One team didn't. I don't know. That's a tough one to answer. Obviously, I would have liked to have been in the postseason. I know it's frustrating that for half a season we really didn't have a chance. But to have that lead like that and then completely fall apart, that stings a good bit too. So I'd be very curious as a fan, which season would you rather have? The other part of this too, kind of bringing it back to the Braves side of things, is if I had known that 83 wins would have gotten you to the postseason, I know, and the Braves still didn't make it, that maybe hurts to me. And maybe that's where I would answer it, or maybe I'd still rather have the Mets season, but probably not. But to know that you could have gotten in with 83 wins and you still couldn't find a way to do that as the Braves, that makes it sting even more to me as a Braves fan. Because I thought at one point this year you were going to need 88, at least 88 wins to get into the postseason. And the Reds got in with 83 wins this year, just barely over 500. So that stings as a Braves fan.
And when you look at it and you see you were 8 games out of a postseason spot because you had finished with 75 wins, but you were also 14 games under 500 in one-run games. Like, knowing that just a couple little small things here and there, right? Like if Pierce Johnson doesn't give up 2 walk-offs in San Francisco, right? If you change like 1 or 2 games in a month and you do that for most of the season, you're in a postseason team. And Mass Moose makes a great point in the chat. You own the tiebreaker against both the Mets and the Reds too. Yeah. So 83 games does it. I think that's the hardest part for me to internalize, is that not only did you miss it by just that, but you can see an easy path to fix it. If you have just normal luck in one-run games, right? You have a 466 winning percentage. If you have a 466 winning percentage in one-run games instead of a 375, you're in the postseason. That's the hardest part for me. But that's also, I think, the reason I have a little bit of faith in next season, is the fact that your performance in one-run games is likely going to regress back to the mean. Philly, the Marlins were fantastic in one-run games in, I think, 2023. Mm-hmm. And then or maybe it was last year, and then they struggled the next season. So kind of a situation like that. Like, Atlanta's more than likely not going to be 21-35 in one-run games next season too. And I think that makes me feel like, okay, if you play the same way you played this year, which wasn't good enough, but if you just have normal luck in one-run games, you could still be in the postseason. The question is, how can you improve on that and get to be better?
Yeah, and that's going to be the question. Look, we can talk about the one-run games, but there's a reason they lost those one-run games too, right? I mean, they didn't have enough offense in the first half. They kept losing many low-scoring games, 3-2, 2-1, because your offense wasn't good enough. Like, yeah, there's probably some luck in there that's going to shift. I mean, that's a lot of one-run losses, but I also think that there's a reason they had so many one-run losses, and it's because the offense wasn't good enough, and the bullpen wasn't good enough either, and they would give up some of those runs, late. So I think there are reasons for it, but those things, if you can address them, and to your point, if you address them and you can flip that next year, I mean, you're looking at a 90-win team again. I really do believe that. Like, again, I think I have a lot of faith in this team next year, and I'm putting a lot of trust in this front office this season to go out and do those things and to spend money. You reset the tax. You did it. Okay. Now go out there and go over it again like you did in 2024, when you not only went over the first tax, you went over the second tax. I mean, this team
almost hit the third tax.
Yeah, they have the money, and they've shown that they have the money. go out and do it. So I'm very optimistic for what this team can be. And I think you can go back through this season if you want to really just bring yourself a lot of pain. And you can look at some of those run games. You can look at some of those losses on the bullpen because they didn't go out and address it in the offseason after losing Joe Jimenez and AJ Minter. You didn't address those things. The only thing you did address offensively was suspended after the first 2 games of the season. Yeah. So yeah, there's reasons why the Braves weren't good this year, but you can see those reasons easily. I don't say easily, but you can see them being fairly easily fixed for next year and see this be a 90-win team. That's not out of the realm of possibility at all.
Yeah, that's kind of where I think I'm leaving this season. And unfortunately, that's where we're going to leave the Postcast. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Jake's going to have content coming all winter. Locked On Sports Atlanta is going to be doing Hawks stuff, Falcon stuff, all of that, all the way through next baseball season. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Lindsay Crosby, signing off of the Braves Postcast.